What up, YouTube? Hey guys, welcome or welcome back to my channel. I'm Sherry. Thank you so much for being here today. Today I am finally here to do a video for you, giving you a review of the Tati Beauty Textured Neutrals Volume 1. I have had this for a while and I have not been doing well, and so I just had to keep putting it off, and I was so anxious to get it done, and I'm so happy that I finally got it done. This is in collaboration with one of my best friends here on YouTube, COURTNEYKH, and she has already done her side of things, and let's just say they're a little bit different. You guys knew I was gonna, you already knew it. But anyways, I just want to give you some information about the palette. Her review is going to be more of a first impressions, and my review is going to be more of a, I've used it 5 or 6 times, and I have some opinions about the shadows and the palette in general. And so I'm excited that it kind of turned out this way. A happy surprise, I guess, that you're getting 2 perspectives with this collaboration, a first impressions and a very different look than what I came up with today, and then a more extended review with more information after having used it many times. So hopefully that will be helpful to you. Let me tell you about this. I paid $48 for this, and I don't even remember what it was with tax. It was not a big deal, but I had a price limit of $60 and it fell right underneath that, so I was super happy. And the palette came in this beautiful box, and there she is looking all gorgeous and perfect. I just thought that was so pretty, and I love that when I opened that up. And inside here it says, "Beautiful is your story to tell. XO Tati." So I really like that, and I think that she really took time and was very thoughtful and intentional about the way that she did this. And I love that she tied the theme all into it. You know, beauty is your story to tell. This is kind of like, you know, a book, and it's a volume, and I love how she tied that all in. And one more thing I wanted to say about her in general is, and I have gone on these rants with people that, and they just laugh at me, but I'm so serious. And if I have to see one more of those videos where people are like, oh my gosh, I'm like so excited, like I can't breathe. I have been working on this for so long, and I am so nervous to tell you about this, and I'm so excited, and this is the most fabulous. Like, if I see another one of those videos, guys, if that's ever me, just do something to me. Because, like, if I see another one of those videos, I'm okay. I think I've made my point. All of that to say, I think it was very classy the way that she introduced this. She showed the video, that she had a photo shoot. They showed all the swatches on her, all the different looks with the pictures. She, you know, gave sneak peeks with the different color stories that were included, one at a time. And I just think it was super classy the way that she presented this. It wasn't cheesy, it wasn't over the top, it wasn't all giddy and I'm so silly, and maybe it's because I'm a mature woman, over 40, you know, maybe the little giggly girl thing just gets on my nerves. Maybe somebody else likes that, but for me, this was a very classy way to present her product, a very professional way to present her product, and I think it was very classy, and I've said that 100 times, but I think it was really indicative of how I picture her as a person. It's very indicative of how I receive her as a person, and so I appreciated that a lot. I appreciated it a lot. It does look like this. It comes in a sleeve. It has been sitting on my vanity, getting all corrupted like everything on my vanity does. But this is this front of it. It kind of has the textured raised letters. On the back here it has all the ingredients. So when you pull the palette out, it looks the same, except for this is kind of a rose gold color and also raised. It says Tati Beauty on the end here in volume 1. It's kind of like a book. I would imagine that if there were lots of volumes, you could store them this way, and I like that you would know which one you were pulling from. This is what the palette looks like. It's very beautiful. It's laid out in a unique way. It's got the texture down this side, and it's got the name here. So when you hear me tell you about the shades, I'll say something like Memory Matte or Poet Metallic, and that's how you just kind of go across and down to the name. So we've got glitter and metallic and sequin and matte. Matte is obviously matte. Sequin is kind of a matte formula with some glitter kind of thrown in there. The metallics are metallics and the glitters are glitters. So there's 4 different finishes, and I think that's why she called it textured neutrals. But has a very ginormous mirror and a very nice mirror, very clear mirror. My entire face fits in it, and very, very nice. I'm not that person who gives you price per gram and all those things. I'm just not that person. But I will tell you that it is cruelty-free, vegan. I'm assuming it was made in California because that's where the address is on here. Not positive. And it does have a batch number here. On the sleeve itself, it says not intended for use in the immediate eye area. This is a color palette, just like, it's called a pressed powder palette. Just like a lot of them that use a particular color of red, it might stain. I probably will be stained, but I haven't found that I have noticed any staining so far. So, a little bit about Courtney. Courtney and I have known each other for a long time now. I want to say, I know it's over a year. I think we met around this time last year. Has it only been a year? It can't be just a year. You know what? As you get older, the years go by in the blink of an eye. I never understood whenever people would say that time went by so fast. Now I understand. It goes by really quickly, and also the older you get, the years kind of melt together and you don't know which year was what. So there's that. But anyways, Courtney is a really good friend of mine, and I really have enjoyed getting to know her. She is the sister of my heart, as are several people here on YouTube. People think that you can't make genuine friendships with someone that you've never met in person, and I don't believe that's true. I think a lot of times you get to know people on a more deep level because you communicate so much with each other through social media and texting and phone calls and Marco Polo and all those things, and I think really genuine, real, true friendships are formed, and that is how it is with Courtney. She has a very fun channel. She does a lot of reviews. She does makeup looks. She does hauls and unboxings, and she comes up with a lot of really good ideas that are just unique to her channel. And so of course I will link her up there, and I will link her down below, and I will also link her video so that you can go check it out. And please do. I think you'll enjoy her channel and you will enjoy her. She's a Georgia peach and I think you will enjoy her channel. I do. And so of course she's my friend, so I'm biased, but I'm allowed to be. But anyways, I'm going to start off by showing you some pictures of swatches, and I will tell you through my editing what row these are, and they go from matte to sequin to metallic to glitter in the same order, going from the bottom to the top. So let me demonstrate so you know what I'm talking about. On my swatches, I go from the top to the bottom, matte, sequin, metallic, and then glitter on my hand. And so on editing, I will show you if it is memory, ritual, soothe, story, soothe, aura, or poet. Sorry, my glasses are off. You know I can't see. So I will show you those swatches. Courtney did live swatches on her video, so I chose to do photo swatches. We kind of always have a conference before our collabs, and we really want them to be special and well thought out and really intentional about the way we do it. That's why she chose one color story and I chose another. That's why she did live swatches. I'm doing picture still swatches, just so that you get a really good overview from two different people's perspectives. So I'm going to go ahead and insert the pictures here so that you can see. I do want to point out, I want you to take a look at the sequin shade on each photo and see if you can detect the glitter. And I will talk about that later on in the video. So here they are. Alright guys, so as you can see, some really beautiful shades, some really beautiful finishes. So if you would like to see these in action, I'm getting ready to start the demo. I hope it's helpful to you. Please listen throughout the demo because I give a lot of information along the way as I get into the eye look and I approach different textures and different finishes. I talk a lot about the experience that I had with those, not just on today's look, but also the many other times that I've used this palette. So hopefully that information will be interesting and useful to you. And so with no further ado, if you would like to see how I got this eye look, then here we go. Alright guys, we're going to go ahead and get started with the demo. On Courtney's video, she used all of the dark smoky shades and we couldn't have predicted that, right? And if you were predicting which part of the palette I was going to use, what would you say? I'll give you a minute. You know I'm using the pinky red burgundy, I'm using that row. So Courtney used the memory row. She came up with the most gorgeous look, seriously, so gorgeous. So definitely go check her out. I am going to use the row that is labeled Poet right there, this whole row. Now I'm going to use some of the others obviously for transitions and such, but Poet, which I am, if you guys didn't know that, I have written poetry my whole life, so that's just kind of like she made that row just for me, right? So as I said before, I have used this palette probably 5 or 6 times. Courtney's video is more of a first impressions. Mine is going to be a do I like this palette after having used it multiple times kind of review, which I think is excellent because you got her very first take on it and she just used a few shades, and I will be talking about all the ones that I've used. I have not used them all obviously, but I've used many of them and I think I have a pretty good grip on the 4 different formulas. So that's a good benefit. You'll get a first impressions from her, kind of a more in-depth video from me. Not that hers isn't in-depth. I'm gonna sit here and talk all over myself. Let's get into the eyeshadow. So obviously I have my entire face on. I wanted just to concentrate on the eyes for this video. And so I'm gonna start off by going into the Aura row and using the Aura matte for the brow bone. The words aren't coming out. So I'm going to use my BH Cosmetics 103 shader brush into the Aura matte and just use it to carve out my brow bone. And since there's not something that I would use for a transition shade in my Poet row, it's my Poet row, I am going to go into the Soothe row and use the Soothe matte for my transition shade. I'm going to be using a Morphe R40 for that. I feel like I'm having trouble getting some color right there, so I'm going to go in with my Wayne Goss 18 to get in there a little bit closer. Okay, while I'm doing the other eye, I'll take this opportunity to tell you about kind of how I feel about these mats. And at the beginning, I thought, you know, these are perfect. They're blending out so beautifully. La, 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 la. I just wanted to love everything about this, and I didn't want, and I do love it for a lot of reasons, but I didn't want to think anything bad about it. And I don't necessarily think this is a terrible thing. I just want to warn you about it, because I think that if you're planning on buying the palette, or if you're interested in it and you're watching my video to make a decision, and I just realized I didn't zoom you in, so I'm going to do that. Let me finish this while I'm talking, and then I'll zoom you in. You know, who hasn't watched me put a transition color on? Not very many of you, unless you're brand new to my channel. And if you are, hi! I'm a hot mess. I'm a train wreck, and I just love that about myself. But anyway, what I was gonna say is, I watched a video. I watched so many reviews on this even before my palette arrived. Let me go ahead and take this opportunity to tell you about her customer service. Whenever I ordered the palette, I did get a confirmation email, and I got a confirmation screen. It switched over to a confirmation screen that said, we got your order and all the jazz. But that same day, Courtney ordered her palette, and she said, Sherri, I already got the shipping notification. I'm like, well, I didn't. And my friend Marlo ordered it, and she said, well, I've already gotten my shipping notification. And I'm like, well, I haven't. And so I thought, okay, well, they're both in Georgia. Maybe it's a regional thing. You know, who knows where these are distributed from, etc. And so I thought, well, maybe it's a regional thing and they just haven't shipped out, you know, ones in my area. But after 2 or 3 days went by, I was like, well, wait a second. How come, you know, I haven't gotten a shipping notification? Then I got paranoid. I'm like, oh my gosh, you know, they didn't get my order. It didn't go through, that kind of thing. And so I was like, okay, I can sit here and wait and find out that there was a problem with my order, or I can send an email and test their customer service. Because, you know, that was such a hang up with the Jaclyn Hill thing. The customer service stunk to high heaven, and so I was like, let's see. I did get an immediate email that says, we've gotten, you know, your request or your email, and we will get back to you within 24 to 48 hours. Well, it was maybe a couple hours later, and I got an email. And basically what I had said to them was, you know, I got the confirmation, but almost everybody that I knew that ordered this has already gotten a shipping notification. And I just wanted to make sure there wasn't an issue with my order, because I haven't gotten shipping confirmation. Well, like 2 or 3 hours later, I had a shipping confirmation. So, you know, with the launch of this size, with anybody's launch, they're going to run into problems. It's not that there's a problem that makes a company look bad, in my opinion. It is what they do with it, and the fact that they got back to me right away, the fact that they took care of it immediately, that says something for their customer service. And I didn't want to tell you guys that, because if you're planning on purchasing from this company, that's something that you should know. So A+ on customer service for me. Now, I watched 422 review videos while I was waiting on this palette to arrive. Some were, I mean, the majority of them were just raving about the blendability, the pigmentation, and all those things. And those are the things ultimately that you guys are going to want to know about if you're coming to this video for a review. I'm going to zoom in now. And guys, there's a sweet spot with my camera that if I get too close, I have focusing problems, or if I, you know, this is about the best place, and I think you can see well, and I don't have focusing issues. But anyways, what I was going to say is I watched one from Mel Thompson, and I really like her. She's the one with the buzz cut, super pretty big eyes, and I really enjoy her videos, and I trust her judgment. And she said, I'm having trouble blending these. I have to keep adding product to blend it out. And I thought to myself, well, I haven't had that problem. What is she talking about? And I don't think it's like a manifest destiny. I don't think it happened because she put that idea in my mind. I think I just like, yeah, you know, now that you mention it, I started paying attention to what I was doing, and I had the same issue. And she said I would never not set my base with this with this formula, and I always set my base because my concealer or my primer immediately creases if I don't set it, so I always do. And so maybe that's why I didn't have as much of an issue. And I haven't tried it without setting my primer because I always do. And I obviously I'm going to do it the way that I always do it so I can see if it's my cup of tea. So she mentioned, and I looked in the ingredients. I didn't look super close, but I did look in the ingredients to see if I saw. But she said something about coconut oil being in the matte formula. And I thought that kind of explains the texture. And I think it was for... I think that you would have used something like that. Obviously, I don't make cosmetics, but to make it smooth, I think, to make it soft. But if you think about adding an oil to a matte formula, I would imagine you could think, oh, well, maybe it would kind of stick a little bit. Maybe it's for longevity. I don't know. But I do feel like I have to blend more than I ordinarily do with matte formulas. I'll just put it that way. Is it a deal breaker for me? No, because it's a beautiful color and it does blend out. But it does take a little bit of extra effort, and I have noticed that I do much better with natural hair, kind of stiffer brushes than I would. I wouldn't even attempt to use a synthetic brush with the mattes. I don't think it would turn out well. And I might, you know, somebody else may have a different experience, but for me, I'm going to use the natural hair brushes. I don't think I would like the result if I didn't. The kind of a stiffer one that has a little bit more grip, that's my recommendation for the mattes. So we'll go from there. Okay, I did come in just a little bit closer. If I notice it giving me focusing problems, I will do something about it. I'll make an adjustment. Okay, so after the mattes, you go into the sequin row, and that's kind of where I would, maybe my second or third step. I wanted to talk about the sequin row because it's kind of like a matte that has really finely milled glitter in it. And on the Poet row, which I kind of want to use some of it just to show you, it has like a purple blue reflect in it. And that's gorgeous, but I have heard lots of people saying that the glitter doesn't translate, or if it does translate, eventually through the day it disappears. And I can see that. And you'll see in the swatches that on the lighter shades, you can maybe not even detect it, and you just think that you're seeing two matte shades. But in the darker shades, you can see it better because there's more of a contrast between the color of the glitter and the color of the pigment. And so that being said, I don't know how much of a benefit that kind of formula is, because I think it's basically going to give the same result as the matte color. I don't know. Maybe that's something that she'll think about whenever she is creating the volume 2. But for me, that entire row, for the most part, that entire row could be left off. I haven't used all of them, but I have used several of them, and it was almost like I was just putting the same color matte in a different place on my eye, and it didn't seem like it made much of an impact. But whenever I look at them under the light, that sparkle is almost like little starlights. It's so pretty, and I wish that it would translate onto the eye like it looks on the swatch whenever I'm looking at it under studio lights. It's beautiful, but that's a little bit of a disappointment, and I almost feel like that row could be, or that column, that row could be left out just because just doesn't translate. So I'm going to go ahead, and I need to locate a brush, but I'm going to go ahead and go in with the matte shade of Poet, this burgundy color. And I'm going to use that to darken and deepen my outer V. So I could not find the brush I'm looking for, which, you know, per usual for Sherri. I'm going to use the M433 by Morphe. Oh, and I did want to say that I don't really feel the need to tap these off in general, but since I haven't used this burgundy shade, I'm going to go ahead and tap it off just on the initial application, just to make sure I don't make a mess of my face. I do feel like there's a little bit of a stick and that I kind of have to get real aggressive with my blending to get the product to move. And that's what, whenever she talked about the coconut oil, that's why that made sense to me. Because I'm like, yeah, it's like I really have to get in there and really get after it to get the color to move. But that is a gorgeous shade. It's a gorgeous shade. Okay, I like the shape here, and if you are someone who frequents my channel, you can probably tell that it's taken a little bit of extra work for me to get it opaque. And I don't want to mess around with having to add. So I'm taking a clean brush and just kind of going around the outside of that to kind of smooth out that outer line. But I don't want to go in and do a bunch of blending because I don't want to mess with it to the point that I have to add more color. So I'm just kind of softening that outer edge with the Sigma E40. I do want that outer area to be soft and diffused, but I still want the color to be intense on the inner part. Okay, I'm going to leave it at that. At this point, I think I may just use my finger and go into the sequin shade and just put it over what I already have there, because I don't think I'm going to get a way different effect, and maybe a little bit of that blue reflect will show over the matte, and maybe that's a way that we could find to use it. But I don't know, just for a subtle little bit of glitter. Anyways, so that's what I'm going to do. This shade here, I'm going to go in, and that's the sequin on the Poet Row. And I'm just going to put it on my finger and just kind of tap it over. I don't know if this would work with a sticky base, and I don't know if you're able to see the sparkle. I hope you are, because the sparkle in this is so distinct. It's so bright. I hope you can see it. If not, then obviously the effect that it's meant to have it's not having it. And so what's the point? You know, if you're not getting any of that really pretty sparkle, then you've just got a matte. And I have found that in a lot. And like I said, maybe some glitter glue would benefit the situation. But like what I'm seeing is so gorgeous, and it would be gorgeous if it stayed there. But if it doesn't stay there, then what's the point? So I'm not gonna blend over that. I think that's another thing, and it was recommended in some of the videos not to blend over it because you're just gonna knock the glitter off. And some people may say that's too much work for me, and that's the whole point of doing the review is, you know, is this for you? Is it not? If you're not somebody who's willing to do some extra things and try to figure out a way to make it work for yourself, then maybe it's not for you. But that's what I like, that I did the, you know, extended review, because it wasn't intentional. I was going to do it the same weekend that Courtney did it, but I had some health issues and I just couldn't get it done. And so I'm actually kind of glad it turned out that way. Now I'm going into the metallic in the Poet Row right here, and I'm going to go in with my finger first. I do like the way that the palette lays flat. I don't like the ones that sit up. I feel like I'm trying to juggle the whole time that I'm doing my makeup. I'm going to go in with my finger first, and then I'll go in and fill in the nooks and crannies with my MAC 242. I'm going to go ahead and say it about the metallics too. Like, I have a little bit of a gripe with those too. I feel like they're very sheer, and I've used the majority of them now, and some of them more than others. The Aura is very sheer and hard to build up. The others, I have used the Ritual, the Story, and the Soothe as well, and they're not as difficult to build up. They show up a little bit more. I have not done the metallic, and so you'll have to refer to Courtney's video, the metallic memory. I haven't done that one, the gunmetal color. So you'll have to refer to Courtney's video for that, but I had trouble building them up. I have not used this one yet, so, or maybe I haven't, I just don't remember. early morning makeup sessions lend to not very good memories of what I've done and what I haven't done. But I'm going to go in with the Poet Metallic. And this is kind of duochromy. It has a little bit of almost a burgundy brown undertone, kind of some orange. I don't know. But I'm going to go from the center. I'm going to overlap the matte and pull it all the way into my inner corner. And it's really pretty, but it doesn't, there's not a lot of it. It's not distinct against the matte. It's almost like you just have a shimmer of the same color. I don't know. Let me work with this and see where I get with it. Okay, that's what we have. But the point I'm making is, look at the difference between that color and that color in the pan and how similar they look on the eye. It's almost like but that also lends to good blending where it looks like just one is melding into the other, and that's a nice thing too. I thought about doing a cut crease, but I just wanted to do not an everyday look, but a non-complicated look where I could just work with these things and, experiment and mess around without it having to be so stinking precise. I just didn't want to do that this time. I will show that there's literally almost no kick up in the pan. And that may have been a part of the coconut oil binder. And I hope I'm correct. I hope I'm not steering you wrong, but that's what she said. That's what she said. That's what Mel Thompson said. And, she's one of those ingredient girls. She's one of those girls that knows about ingredients. And so if there's a chemical compound name that she knows is coconut oil that I have never seen and don't know anything about, I would trust her judgment. But that may be another reason why she added that to her formula, is because it maybe would keep the product pressed down into the pan. But I like this. I think it's pretty. I think it's kind of monochromatic, which is not necessarily what I'm going for. When I look at it here, I can see a distinction between the matte and the shimmer, and I can see the glitter from the sequin. So we'll see. But I am going to go ahead and use my other MAC 242 to put some shimmer in my inner corner, and for that I am going to use the Aura Metallic. And since I was telling you how sheer this was, I want you to notice what it's like when I first put it there. It's there, but it's super subtle. It's not blinding. And concentrated in one small area, it is very vivid. But if you were to put it on your finger and spread it across your lid, you would have to do that 2 or 3 times for it to show up. And it feels hard to make it opaque on the lid. And see, for me, when I was looking at this palette, I thought, oh, I could see myself using that on my lid every day. With an everyday look, I like to put a transition color and then have a really bright inner lid. But I couldn't get it to show up as much as I wanted it to, and I didn't try wetting it or any of those things. It's like when I try out a palette, I want to use it the way that I would use it, and the only time I wet a brush is whenever I have to, whenever I can't get it to work otherwise, but I want it to work on its own without. So for me, that was disappointing, because when I saw that, I was like, oh yes, that's my everyday color. It's not that it's not pretty, it's just that it doesn't show up as much as I wanted to. It's sheerer than I thought it would be. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and do my lower lash line. I'm just gonna go in with the Poet Matte right there, and then I'm gonna blend it out with a mix of the Matte Soothe and the Matte Aura, because I don't want the lower lash line to look brown. So I'm going to mix those. But the reason I'm going to go ahead and do that is because I'm going to get into the glitter, and I want the bottom lash line to be done like after I deal with the glitter, because I have used the glitter in several different capacities, but not how I plan to use it today. So if it's going to take a long time, I don't want to have to deal with my lower lash line afterwards. So let me get that done. All right, so that's what I have so far. Now, I have used the glitters in a lot of different capacities. One day I just kind of tapped it in the center of my eye for kind of a halo. I put it real lightly on my inner corner one day. I tapped it real lightly on my lid one day. But today, I really just want to not have it fully opaque, but super present on the first at least 1/3 of my inner eyelid there. So I am going to go in with the Poet color, which is just so beautiful to me. And the glitters, a lot of the glitters have, you know, multi-dimensional, lots of different colors mixed in together. It's not just one color of glitter, and that's gorgeous. This one to me looks like it's just one color though. But this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to go in with my MAC 242 with the brush first and see what I can do with the brush. After that, I'm going to try to just kind of press in with my finger to kind of fill in the gaps. Let's see how it goes. I'm not going to dig hard into this. I'm going to start slow, but I'm very lightly tapping it in, and this is about the amount of product that I come up with. I'm going to start with that. I don't know if that even focused. So I'm just going to press it. And this is without any glitter glue. And I have not really had trouble with a lot of fallout with this glitter. It pretty much stays put. I think it would probably benefit from a glitter glue, as do most glitters. Oh, that's beautiful. But while I'm working on this glitter, let me say that, you know, this palette, like I said, it takes a little bit of extra work, but to get a look like this, you know, it's kind of a little bit over the top, a little extra. But for an everyday, I've used it a lot just for my everyday looks, and you can come up with a lot of pretty everyday, just kind of in between, not any big deal looks without a whole heck of a lot of effort. Now I am noticing that there's some glitter on my face, but I'm going over the same area over and over. Maybe I shouldn't have done that, but that's beautiful glitter. It's interesting because pressed glitters, or glitters in general, are difficult, and I've never really found one that I could get away with, and that just wiped right away without having a ton of fallout. I thought I was going to go more opaque with this glitter, but I kind of like it just the way it is. So I don't really feel like I need to go in with my finger, but I am going to go in with my finger on the other one just to see how it applies. And I feel like that's what it looks like on the finger, that I may be more successful, but I don't know that I can get it down into the, I don't really feel like there's that much of a difference. And I've been, you know, with glitters that I've used before that had any kind of base or binder, it always seemed like all of it was left on my finger. And a lot of it came off. I don't feel like I'm having a hard time getting it off of my finger, but I do feel like I need to go back in with my brush and just make sure that I get it everywhere and kind of make it symmetrical to where I have it on the other side. But I'm just going to kind of pull it, or randomly pull it into the mat, because I'm not going to want to do any blending after this. You know, I don't want to move it. And I'm feeling pretty good with this, with the amount I've got. And overall, I'm happy with the look. I almost feel like I kind of have a pinky version of what Courtney did, but I'm really happy with it, and it's very Sherri. So I'm gonna very lightly just kind of go around the edge here and try to make sure that everything is kind of smooth on the outer edge here, and go through and make sure there's no fallout on that side. Maybe it's because I was like messing with it and manipulating it, but I'm starting, you know, having my OCD moment where it seems like it's real opaque here on the front side on the other eye and not so much here. So I'm going to add a little bit, but kind of like more opaque in here, and then just kind of a gradient moving out. But I like that. So I think it's very pretty, but it took me a long time to get here. But of course I'm explaining it all to you. And for me, I can still see the sequin, the glitter and the sequin, at least for right now. So I'm gonna go ahead and go put on some mascara liner lashes and come back with the final look for you guys, and kind of give you a last hurrah, a little talk about it. And we'll be out of here. Hopefully this has been helpful. I think it would be for me if I was looking to buy this palette or not. So I'll be back. All right, folks, I am back. Just to give you a quick rundown of what I used: IT Cosmetics Superhero Liner, Extended Play Giga Black Lash MAC on my lower lashes, and Thrive Cosmetics Liquid Lash Extensions Mascara. The lashes that I had a hard time with are the Ardell 811 Foam Mink. They have a weird plasticky band in there, and I'm hoping it's not going to show my pictures. If it does, I'm going to be mad. I should have just gone with my Spellbound by House of Lashes like I initially thought. The lippy, which I think is absolutely perfect, is the Buxom Plump Line Lip Liner in Anonymous Allure, and the Dose of Colors Liquid Lipstick in Talk and Chic. And I think it looks perfect. But overall, I'm really happy with the look. It took a long time. It's a special occasion look. And I think, I mean, regardless, I think it turned out beautiful. I love the Poet Row. It's my row. You guys know it. Am I going to use it every day? No. So let me just give a little rundown. I'm going to back myself out so you're not all up in my grill anymore. You've been up in there long enough. Anyway, so overall, the packaging I think is nice. I have gotten it kind of dirty. It's fingerprinty, but you know, so are all the rest of my palettes. I'm cool with that. The amount of product for how much it costs, I'm cool with that. The way that it is laid out, I absolutely love. I love, it did take me a minute to get used to how to tell you, but at least there's names and they didn't have to print them all over the place. My favorite row, that one, of course, but the row that I use the most, this one. My favorite glitter is the Aura, because it has all these different colors in it, and it's just super interesting. My favorite metallic, I think it's going to have to be this, even though I haven't used it yet, the Memory Metallic, because it's just a beautiful flipping color. I have not used the orange row yet. I think that will be, maybe I'll use that for Thanksgiving. Now, I do still think probably that you could take the sequin row out and be able to come up with the same kinds of looks. I just believe that. But excluding that, I think that you've got everything that you need for everyday look. You've got everything that you need for kind of amped up going out look, and you also have what you need for a special occasion. This is something that I would wear for a special occasion. Now here's the thing, I think everybody is going for a way to use glitter without it being a pain in the backside, right? I think that's what she was attempting to do, is give us a way to do that. And I think that she did to some extent. Glitter's messy. Glitter is messy. It's pretty and fancy, but it's messy, and that's just the name of the game. You know, Stila, I think, was the closest to coming to a way to deal with glitter without it being an issue, without it falling out everywhere, staying where you want it, and just looking super gorgeous. And I still think that these are probably a superior product if you're wanting something for glitter. But the glitters in here are several different colors, multi-dimensional, very beautiful, and out of a pressed glitter that's in a palette, this is probably the best formula that I've ever tried. It's the easiest to apply. You can use it with your finger or with a brush. You can add it real subtly to just a little bitty pop where it just adds a little bit of pizzazz to your look, or you can go full on like I did today. You could go even more full on with like a cut crease or something. So I like the versatility of this palette. I would have supported Tati regardless because I've watched her channel for a long time. I think she is a classy lady. I think she's got a good heart, and I wanted to support her. I just really did, and I would have bought it anyway. Do I think I'll still get a lot of use out of this even now that I'm done with all the testing phase? Yeah. You know, I will definitely grab it for a brow bone. I'll definitely grab it for a transition. I would definitely use that for these 2 rows for fall. Definitely. I would definitely do that. How many times do I have to say definitely? It's got the browns and the blacks that I would grab to use to supplement other palettes. So I will grab this to use the glitter even if I'm using another palette for the rest of it. So I think it was a good buy. I'm glad I have it. Like I said, I would have supported her regardless, but I'm really glad to have it. And I think I came up with a beautiful look today. My lash band better not be showing. Just saying. But anyways, guys, thank you so much for hanging out with me. Thank you so much, Courtney, for collabing with me. It's so fun to continue to geek out and love makeup together. And I really want you guys to go look at her smoky look that she created with the memory row of this palette right here. It is so her wheelhouse, just like the pinky row was mine. And man, she floored me with the look. It's absolutely gorgeous. So definitely go check her out. Like I said, I'll have her linked above. I'll have her linked below. There will be no way that you can miss it. I'm going to bug you till you go do it. So you just might as well go do it. But thank you for checking out my video, for hanging out with me while I really tried to do something super pretty and pinky with this Tati Textured Originals Volume 1. I am excited to see what else she comes up with. I will continue to support her, and I'm super happy to have this palette. I will use it a lot. But I'm going to get out of here for now. Again, thank you so much for joining me. I appreciate it so much. If you enjoyed this video and found it helpful, please give me a thumbs up and subscribe if you haven't already. And until next time, take care and God bless. Bye, guys.